Your butt still looks flat no matter how hard you train. This is the video that changes everything. Collision: discover the hidden reasons your glutes aren't growing and the exact science-backed moves to fix it fast. From activation mistakes to training intensity, you'll finally learn how to sculpt that round, athletic, head-turning shape you've been chasing. Brain, no fluff, no gimmicks, just results. It's time to train smarter, hit harder, and conquer the mirror style. High voltage build glutes that command attention and power with every step. Let's go. Person, male, fire glute activation braked. On fire why your glutes aren't firing properly and the neuromuscular secret to switch them on instantly. Most people think their glutes aren't growing because they're not training hard enough, but that's not the real issue. The truth is, your glutes might not even be turning on during your workouts. You can hip thrust, squat, and lunge all day, but if your glutes aren't firing, the growth just won't happen. It's like trying to rev an engine that's not connected to the wheels. You'll make noise, but you won't move forward. The problem usually starts with poor activation. Sitting all day shuts down your glutes and lets other muscles, like your quads and lower back, take over the work. So when you hit your workout, those muscles dominate the movement, leaving your glutes behind. That's why you might feel your thighs burn, but not your butt. To fix it, you've got to rewire that connection. Start every lower body session with targeted activation drills, things like glute bridges, clamshells, or banded kickbacks. Focus on squeezing, not just moving. Feel the contraction. When you go into your main lifts, maintain that same tension and intent. It's not about how much weight you lift. It's about who's doing the lifting. The glutes respond to control, not chaos. Once you wake them up, every rep starts to count. You'll notice a stronger mind, muscle link, better control at the top of each movement, and a deeper burn where it matters most. That's when the transformation begins, not when you add more weight, but when your glutes finally join the fight. Because at the end of the day, muscles don't grow from movement alone, they grow from connection, control, and intent. Activate, engage, and make every rep matter. Form fixes that build shape: flexed biceps, common exercise mistakes, killing your gains: squats, hip thrusts, lunges, and how to fix your technique. Here's where most people go wrong. They think just doing the right exercises guarantees results. But the truth is, even the best movements can fail you if your form isn't locked in. When your goal is to grow your glutes, every inch of the rep matters. It's not just about going through the motions. It's about controlling the motion with purpose. Let's take the squat, for example. Most people drop straight down, let their knees cave in, and rely on their quads to do all the work. The glutes barely get a chance to engage. The fix: drive through your heels, keep your knees tracking out, and push your hips back as you descend. When you come up, squeeze the glutes hard, don't just stand. You should feel them working, not just hope they are. Same goes for hip thrusts. Too many people load the bar heavy, then bounce it up and down like a piston. That's not control, that's momentum. You need to pause at the top, lock out your hips, and consciously contract the glutes. Think of it like a full squeeze, not a half rep. Every time you rush, you rob your glutes of the time under tension they need to grow. Even with lunges, alignment is everything. Keep your chest tall, stride long, and push from the heel of your front foot. That single cue shifts the work from your quads to your glutes, and that's where the magic happens. Perfect form isn't about looking good in the mirror. It's about getting the right muscles to do their job. When your form improves, your results explode. So slow it down, feel every rep, and remember, perfect reps build perfect glutes. Training volume and frequency: brain, how often and how hard you should train for maximum glute growth without overtraining. Here's the thing, even if your activation and form are on point, your glutes still won't grow if you're not training them with the right balance of volume and frequency. Too little, and they never get enough stimulus to adapt. too much, and you beat them down before they have a chance to recover. The goal isn't to destroy your glutes every session. It's to challenge them smartly and consistently. A lot of people think more sets automatically mean more growth, but after a certain point, all you're doing is burning calories, not building muscle. Growth happens when the muscle gets a clear signal. Hey, we need to get stronger. That means hitting them with enough resistance, enough tension, and then backing off to let recovery do its job. You grow between workouts, not during them. Ideally, you should be training your glutes 2 to 3 times per week, with different levels of intensity. One heavy day where you focus on strength, things like hip thrusts, squats, and Romanian deadlifts. Another day for volume and control, glute bridges, kickbacks, lateral band walks, and maybe a lighter activation day to keep the connection alive. That's how you build roundness and power at the same time. If you're training every day with no rest or variety, you're not being disciplined, you're being counterproductive. The glutes are a large, powerful muscle group, but they still need time to repair and grow thicker. It's not about how many days you train, it's about how well you train and how smartly you recover. When volume, intensity, and rest all align, that's when the growth kicks in. So stop guessing and start programming. Smart training builds strong glutes. Mind, muscle connection focus, direct hit the difference between just moving weight and actually growing muscle. Control every rep with intent. Most people train their glutes like they're just another muscle on the checklist. Move the weight, hit the reps, done. But if you want real growth, you've got to bridge the gap between your mind and your muscle. That's where the mind-muscle connection comes in, and it's the game changer most people overlook. You can't just go through a workout. You have to own every rep. When you're doing hip thrusts, for example, don't just lift the bar, drive your hips up, and think about your glutes doing the work. Visualize them contracting and powering the movement. That awareness turns an average set into a growth set. The same goes for squats, lunges, or kickbacks. If you're not feeling your glutes by the second or third rep, pause, reset, and fix your focus. Because the muscle you feel working is the muscle that grows. The problem is, most people chase numbers instead of connection. They add plates to the bar before mastering control, but heavy weight without engagement is wasted effort. You can load up the bar all you want. If your glutes aren't the ones lifting, you're just teaching other muscles to take over. True strength isn't about moving the heaviest weight. It's about moving with purpose and precision. So next time you train, slow down your tempo, hold the contraction at the top, feel the stretch at the bottom. Don't just let momentum carry you, control it. Every rep should feel intentional, deliberate, and targeted. That's how you turn movement into growth, because when your mind connects with your muscle, every rep counts double. Train with focus, not just effort, and you'll finally start to see your glutes grow the way they're meant to. Nutrition and recovery power forks, leaping why your glutes can't grow without the right fuel and rest, the hidden growth multiplier. You can train perfectly, hit every rep with intent, and still see no progress if your recovery and nutrition aren't dialed in. This is where most people drop the ball. They treat training as the only variable that matters, but the truth is, your body doesn't grow in the gym, it grows when you're out of it. If your glutes aren't getting the nutrients and rest they need, you're basically hitting the brakes on your own progress. Muscle growth is an energy-intensive process. You need enough protein to rebuild tissue, enough carbs to fuel performance, and enough fats to keep your hormones in balance. If you're under-eating or skipping meals, your glutes have nothing to work with. Think of it like building a house. You can have the best blueprint and tools, but if you don't have the materials, construction stops. Fuel matters. Every gram counts. Recovery is the second half of that equation. When you train hard, you're breaking down muscle fibers. The repair process is what makes them thicker and stronger. If you're training again before recovery happens, you're just tearing down what you haven't built back up yet. Sleep, hydration, and active recovery days aren't optional, they're part of the plan. Most people ignore that, then wonder why they stay stuck. Even stress plays a role. High cortisol levels slow growth and steal your gains. So sometimes, the best thing you can do for your glutes isn't another workout. It's a solid meal, a long stretch, and 8 hours of real rest. Training breaks the muscle, nutrition and recovery build it. If you want rounder, stronger glutes, you've got to respect both sides of the process. Eat smart, rest hard, and let the growth happen. The Roundness Formula Peach. The strategic combo of compound and isolation moves that sculpts fuller, rounder glutes fast. Now that you've got activation, form, training balance, focus, and recovery dialed in, it's time to put it all together into what I call the Roundness Formula. This is where science meets strategy, the perfect combination of compound and isolation work that builds shape, not just size. Because here's the truth, big glutes aren't automatically round glutes. Shape comes from smart programming and targeted effort. Compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, and hip thrusts are your foundation. They build overall strength and thickness. But if that's all you're doing, your glutes might grow outward without developing that full, sculpted look from every angle. That's where isolation work comes in. Movements like cable kickbacks, abductions, and glute bridges help carve out the upper and outer portions of your glutes, giving them that lifted, rounded appearance. The key is how you blend the two. Start your workout with a compound lift when your energy is highest, push heavy, and focus on power. Then transition into isolation work, where you can slow it down and chase that deep, burning contraction. You're not just lifting here, you're shaping. Every rep should feel like it's building a 3D muscle, strong from the back, balanced from the sides, and tight from the top. Tempo also plays a role. Don't rush your reps. Control the negative, pause at the peak, and feel the muscle working through every phase. When you mix strength and precision, that's when the magic happens. So stop training for numbers and start training for shape. Because real glute development isn't about how heavy you lift, it's about how intentionally you build. Combine power and precision, and you'll create glutes that don't just grow, they stand out. If you've been grinding in the gym but still can't build that round, powerful shape, it's time to stop guessing and start training smarter. You now know how to fire up your glutes, fix your form, train with purpose, and recover like an athlete. The results won't come from doing more, they'll come from doing it right. So take what you've learned today, apply it with intensity, and watch your physique transform. No shortcuts, no excuses, just real, lasting growth. Your glutes are built by precision, not luck. Now, get out there and make every rep count.